The girl with the yellow eyes, the race car king, and the big 4th of July Yankee Doodle Fair drag race. The Knights of PRNDL, a car called Frankenstein.
I used to work in the pool room in the back of the Horseshoe, where all the real drunks and regulars go for peace and quiet because nobody in this town plays pool. I used to hear all kinds of god-awful crazy stories, funny stuff, sad stuff, wild stories. Stuff I heard that I just couldn't tell my wife when I got home. I heard one, a really good story, about big fires, beautiful girls, and the sound of your foot heavy on the skinny pedal.
I'd parked my car adjacent to the VFW bridge, because that's where I always picked my sister up after she was done working at the deli. When I was on the track team in high school, and we'd come back late at night from our meets, I would look out the window of the bus as we went over that bridge, and see the spider's web laced in the rafters that glowed in the yellow industrial light they use for shit like that. While I waited, I sat on the deck lid and lit a cigarette so I didn't stink up the inside of my car because my mom didn't like the smell. When all of a sudden I heard thunder crashing and horses galloping and all hell breaking loose coming across the bridge, and the spider's webs wavered in the wake of the heat and the noise. A black blur ran the blinking red on Damon Street, and that's how I knew the race car king was back in town. Nobody could tell what kind of car he drove because he was too fast to ever get a good look at it. He had 3 bench warrants for reckless endangerment, exhibition of speed, and failure to display license plates. So he had to be fast, because every cop in town was looking for him. He even rigged up a kill switch on his taillights so he couldn't be followed. All we knew was that he had a 2-door coupe with mag wheels, black on black on black, like the night sky in the summer when the heat is in the air. And it was the fastest car we had never seen.
I saw him in a Nova with a supercharger.
No, he drives a Mustang.
Race car king doesn't drive no Ford.
I heard it was a Vega.
Get out of here, man.
I went to the Big Top Burger to see him, and everyone was already there. He sat in the driver's seat with the radio on and the engine off, drinking root beer and watching the traffic lights change color. Diane Moody came out from behind the order window to sit on his hood and talk to him through the windshield.
Next time, Race Car King, I want to come with you. Wherever you go, take me for a ride.
But he couldn't hear her over the music and everybody's questions.
Where were you, Race Car King?
I heard you were in the big city.
I thought he went to college.
He was at his brother's house.
He could have gone to hell and stayed there for all I care.
When he said that, the only sound was the bug zapper humming, and everybody turned and faced Teddy Bob. The cherry red Big Top sign glimmered off the T-shades that he wore to distract people from the missing finger on his right hand that got shot off in a BB gun war in junior high before he got sent back to Boys Town. Diane Moody slid off the hood and went back to the counter while he walked over to his window.
I've been running the racing around here since you've been gone, Race Car King. And they say I'm the fastest now.
Nobody is faster than the Race Car King.
Teddy Bob turned and scanned the crowd looking for who spoke. Then he rose to the balls of his feet and said,
I'm taking Titty to the Midnight Mile on the night of the Yankee Doodle Fair, and we're gonna see who's the fastest inside county line for good. I'll be coming for you, Race Car King.
Titty was a red 1956 Thunderbird that he had cammed out and stroked with bright silver wheels that had spokes like a wagon. The Race Car King turned his engine over, finished his drink, and pulled out onto the street like he didn't even hear Teddy. That's how we could tell the race was on.
What nobody knows is, I was in hell. He was right. It was always night, and I was where the road stretches on forever. But there's nowhere to go, and the gas needle's always a cunt hair above E. I could go as fast as I wanted, faster than I ever went before. Like I was spinning the whole earth beneath my tires. I was an outer space, out-of-sight astronaut. I watched a million white lines trail behind me in the rearview mirror. All at speed and nowhere to go. When you can go as fast as you want, it's just the same as going slow. And that was hell. So I came home.
I please have your attention? The store will be closing in 5 minutes.
There was this girl in our town that was everybody's baby. The girl with the yellow eyes. She had yellow eyes. Not like green like people say is yellow, but yellow like a glass of beer. Golden. A lot of people said it was that color because her parents were cousins, but I heard it's because she was born under a special planet like a horoscope thing. The biddies who smoked in the bathroom said she had powers, like teleportation and telekinesis. I thought she was the most beautiful girl in the world, and she stocked cans on the last shift at the Acme, and everyone wanted her bad, man. Her skin was cool to the touch from being in the chilled supermarket air all the time. She stood there, 3 o'clock in the morning, in a big empty parking lot like the surface of the moon, and the race car king came out of the dark. You couldn't see him at night until he was right on top of you in that black car, and Diane Moody said she saw the girl with the yellow eyes get in his passenger seat. Every 4th of July, the League of Women Voters put on the Yankee Doodle Fair at the Bach-and-Fuso Memorial Football Field behind the high school. And the yellow, blue, and red cardboard posters with the dot-eyed kids and the big clown were on every telephone pole in town. The picture was the same every year, but I always liked looking at it. I was staring at the clown while filling my tank at the Good Time Gulf when Officer McQuone pulled up in his cruiser.
You wouldn't have anything big planned for that heap one of these days, would you?
He got out of his car but left it running and his voice turned.
I swear to Christ, if I catch one of you goddamn kids so much as turning right on red this weekend, I'm putting your ass in the stir. You better believe it, I'm not fucking joking.
He shifted his weight on one foot to push his gun belt a little lower, and I could hear something squeak on the radio coming from his dashboard.
Do you have any idea how many kids just like you had to scrape into a rubber bag on the side of Route 70? I did 3 years on the highway patrol and I seen more red asphalt than you could ever know. You tell the race car king you better not show his hide in this town while I'm still around, 'cause if I catch him, he's going down.
And he went inside the station to get donuts from the bakery tray by the coffee machine. The night of the fair, the night of the race, was the kind of night where you want to be anywhere but where you already are. It was like the last day of school when there's a million pool parties and no matter what you're doing or who you're with, you just know you're missing out on something wild. I couldn't sit still. I ended up at the fair by myself, and I sat in the wore-out turf by the bleachers. The sun was gone, but the sky was still light on the other side of the horizon, and I could see heat lightning twitching above the tree line, and people throwing up on the big swing, and cops playing shoot the star with the firefighters, and little kids trying to win goldfish at the frog toss, and the scrambler going around and around and around and around. One by one, the lights on the football field went out, and the clowns and the carnies packed up the corn dog trucks and took down the roller coaster tracks as the fireworks started going off. I couldn't find my friends, and I couldn't pick up any girls, so when everyone was looking at the sky, I hopped the fence past the end zone and went to wait on the midnight mile for the race car king to appear. Everybody was there already, even Diane Moody, hunched in the high, greasy grass, kicking broken bottles around and smoking, while Teddy Bop let his motor idle. The exhaust was hot and sweet, and you could feel it thumping in your chest while we were waiting. The sky was purple-black. Teddy got out of Titty and stood in the door sill.
He went pussy!
He said to nobody, because he knew that's what we were all starting to think anyways.
He should have stayed gone and saved everybody the trouble. I'm the king now.
Teddy reached for his T-shades behind his ear. But the race car king must have had an exhaust cutoff in that thing too, because without anyone even noticing, he flicked on his running lights, and there he was, in the northbound lane of the Midnight Mile, waiting for Teddy Bop to stage next to him. They pulled up alongside one another, and Teddy cranked his window down.
I'm gonna blow your fucking doors off,
he said, and strapped his helmet on tight. Someone had a flashlight, and they put down the secret signal, and the two cars zapped right by him so fast and close that he almost got clipped by a door handle. People stood in the road, arms cocked, ready to run and pour beer on the winner, as you watched their taillights get smaller and smaller into the distance as the noise fell off behind the crickets and cicadas and frogs. We almost didn't see it happen when Officer McQuone hit his flashers on the service road and pulled out. And like it was jolted by a giant invisible pool cue knocking the last 8 balls, Teddy Bop's Thunderbird jagged and plowed right into him with the sound of metal on metal and a ball of flames. I wanted to haul ass out of there, but I was paralyzed. It was all I could do to stay standing. I felt a chill, and I could smell the faint scent of Comet, that green stuff they used to put on the cafeteria tables at the end of the day in junior high. I was all of a sudden aware that the girl with the yellow eyes was standing right next to me and had been the whole time. The race car king's taillights were gone. I ran right down the middle of Main Street looking for him, but it had been a few too many years and a few too many beers since I had been on the track team, and I was about to vomit. The only light left burning among the closed-up stores with unlit merchandise sleeping in the windows was the work lamp in the last bay at Keys Chrysler. And when I fell into the garage with sticky sweat slicking the neck of my t-shirt, all that was there was a set of hot skid marks and a note written on the back of a fix-it ticket reading, "Rock and roll." Diane Moody says he pulled up in her driveway and flashed his high beams, but I was in her arms that night, and I know it's not true. We never saw the race car king again.
See? I told you it was a good story. Kind of bullshitty though. All that stuff about how badass his car was, that's gotta be made up. Nobody is that fast.